Okay, step 2 to get started with your semester project is to explore the resources in eLearn. So I'm over here in eLearn and I'm going to click on content. And then when I come into the content, I'm going to, it's here because I was just looking at it, but I've got all of my table of contents. I'm going to click on the module that says semester project. And what you're going to see is that for each of these topics, each of these steps of your project, there are lots of resources in eLearn to help you. So here's the video that I just recorded that tells you how to set up your template. There's also a link to the Digication, the ePortfolio site. The ePortfolio Lab is a really useful resource. They have lab hours. They have students working to help you anytime you're having trouble with the ePortfolio system. You can call them, you can email them, and they will help you. Okay, but let's go back to this page. And I want you to notice that for every step of the project, there are directions. They're the same that are over in the ePortfolio. And then any resources you might need, and then some examples. So step 1 is to take a couple of quizzes, complete the social identity wheel exercise, and then reflect on what you learned. So the 2 quizzes are for a political typology and a religious typology. We do this because lots of people come into this class not really having a sense how they fit in with the broader United States public on religion and politics. So these quizzes will tell you how you are related to everyone else in the United States. The social identity wheel is just an exercise to understand your different identities and how those function in your life. And this link takes you to yet another YouTube video where I explain how to do it. And then you can see some examples of this. Oh dear. Okay, I'm going to have to check these because I'm not logged into the ePortfolio site. Let me see what happens when I do that. Okay, good. So you're going to be able to see this. So I included this one because this was a student from a couple of semesters ago who talked about the social identity wheel exercise. It's a really good example. Each of the steps of the project have the same kind of explanation. So step 2, you're finding out who represents you. There's some directions on how to find them. There's a Prezi that has videos embedded that will show you how to find your representatives. If I can remember how to do this. Yeah, so this is a video on your local representatives. So you can look at that. And then there are some examples. So here's one, and you can see that this person's step 2, just a really nice, concise list. Okay. Step 3 is where you're going to move closer by finding someone who disagrees with you on something you care about and have a conversation where you are just trying to understand. So you are not sharing your beliefs. You are merely interviewing them to understand their perspective. And then your reflection is, what was that like? To listen without sharing your own perspective. Step 4, you're going to engage in some kind of politics or action or your community. There are lots of ways to do that. The easiest one is just to write a letter or an email to someone who represents you. And then the last step is just the final reflection, where you talk about what did you get out of this project. None of these steps are super difficult, although I will tell you that step 2 often requires 2 or 3 or 4 tries because very few of us have ever had to find out who represents us at the local, state, and national level. So my best advice is to just try, and then I will be in to look at your ePortfolio at several points during the rest of the summer. I'll leave you feedback. If you got it right, you'll see a grade of 1 show up in the eLearn gradebook. If you didn't, then I'll leave you a note telling you what to do. Okay?